Okay, right, well hopefully you saw in the pictures that I managed to do the effect that I was after on the tailplane. We can just make that out there. I just put some colour in just to help it sort of along there. Now what I need to do is I need to put in some runners that go in the gaps here. Now what I'll do is I'll heat up some sprue and see if we can't make something of the appropriate diameter. So I'll just get the candle alright. Okay, I'm just taking a piece of off-cut sprue and I'll just run that over, keep turning it as we go, wait for the heat to soften the plastic, and here we go, starting to go. Just make that out, and then what we'll do is we'll pull that away from the heat gently. Blow the candle out, and hopefully we should have something of the diameter that I need. I'm just keeping it held there just until it cools down, otherwise I'll just spring back on you. Okay, right, I think that looks good, so we'll just move that out of the way, get the knife and we'll trim piece off like so, get the tweezers and let's have a look, see what where are we, see how good that looks. Yeah, I think we should be okay for that. So what I'll do now is I'll cut those in length. I need to bend that one, so just a little bit of play on that, and we'll stick those in and see how she looks. Okay, right, back in a few seconds. Okay, right, well we got the first part in. Just about make that out. There we go, against my hand. There we go, that's all looking nice and neat, and it's straight on the parallel as well. I'll take photographs again as usual. Now to do this piece here, what I've done is literally got hold of the part of the sprue, I'll show you here, and literally got something round. This time I used drill bit and just literally held it with my thumb over the drill bit and just pulled, and voila, just makes a curve, and then just cut out the curved part that I actually need. So what I'll now do is if I can actually find the part, there it is. I've got some super glue already sorted out. So we'll grab hold of that very tightly and put a dollop of the gel type glue on the bottom, and then we can just make this out. I'll stick that up the centre of the bottom of the plane, and then just gently push that over whilst the glue hasn't set, like so. Let's pull that out just a tad. Glue's going to set on me, right, that should do. And then what I'll do is I should have some liquid. Nope, that's all gone dry on me, so let's get another piece of the liquid super glue, and then pick up a dollop of that, and I'll stick that over the top part of the runner on both sides. we go. And just to reinforce, I'll do the bottom where I stuck it with the gel type glue. I'll just put an extra dollop on either side. There we go, and then bring that up. There we go. So that's now brought up the centre part of the tailplane, and once that's all been painted in properly, the interior I'll paint in aluminium, and then obviously these runners, and then once obviously the whole plane gets a proper coat of paint, and that should look a lot better. Okay, right, well that's it for that bit, and be back in a little while, so stay tuned. Right, okay, now we're going to start making the other engine nacelle. Just pretty straightforward. Cut the two parts off the sprue. I'm just going to join these together with some plastic weld. A bit fiddly because they're not sort of symmetric parts, so you have to keep your fingers on them. Hopefully you don't actually glue your fingers to the part, otherwise it'll be a bit of a mess. But here we go. We'll run some of the glue inside like so, and then bring them out to each other, give them a bit of a squeeze. Just make sure that the front end, there we go. Right, now we'll go in with the front end. Beauty of this glue is that even though you're running it along the seam, it doesn't melt a great deal of plastic. It is by nature, when it says plastic weld, it literally does just weld a thin bead of plastic together. So if you do end up having to pull it apart, there is a trick where you can put the part in the freezer for a little while, let it go cold, and then just prise it apart. Although I have in the past just had success of just getting hold of the part and just pulling it, and it does come apart nice and clean, and then you can just re-glue it just by using the glue as normal. Right, so I think missed a bit there. Let's just give that a touch. There we go. Right, now try and attempt to fit this to the actual wing. Now there's not much in the way of location tabs on this, because ideally what you would do is you would have the inboard radiator cover and such like already installed, so that then this would then just plonk in the middle between the two parts. But because we made these parts, they're not 100% accurate, but perfect for what we need. Then it's just a lot of manoeuvring about. So I think what I'll do is I'll start from the front, where we know we've got a proper reference point. Now, like I say, there's no tab, so this is all going to be a bit Heath Robinson by using the hands as clamps and trying to manoeuvre parts into play, but we'll get there. Right, I think what I'll do is I'll put a quick dollop of the glue on the front there. That'll help. So get that lined up, that'll help me hold, there we go, that'll help me hold the parts together. Lovely. Okay, and that nearly glued my finger there, so that would have been fun. That's the one thing you don't want, is having fingerprints all over the model, because otherwise it'll look like King Kong's been at it. Right, let's do that side. basically just going along and tacking it and then going over again with another layer of the glue in between the joints just to help it settle in. There we go, that's all looking good. Right, now it's the back end. This is where it all becomes fun, because it's, again, although this is not as bad as the wings on the new tool. There's horrendous gaps at the back here, but these seem to be a lot kinder. So I just need a little work with a bit of sandpaper or a file, and just a little touch of filler, and there's a lot less work involved than there was on the other one. But there we go. That's all looking really nice now. It's just got a fraction over there, but I think we can live with that. Okay. Now the next part, which if I can find it, where's that disappeared to? Here we go. Will be the inboard radiator cover and such. Now I was going to use epoxy putty or 5-minute epoxy resin, sorry, on the last side, but ended up just using super glue, because trying to hold it in position is something of a bit of a task. So what I'll do is I'll just put the lid on the plastic well before I have an accident and spill the glue everywhere. Is if I can find it, here she be. Right, I'll cut the location tabs off. So, and this is where health and safety will have a field day. Never cut towards you, always away from you, but I always find you get greater control. So long as you're not stupid and go hacking at things, you get greater control actually bringing the knife to you, as opposed to going away. That way you can take as little or as much off as you want, and in theory and in good practice you don't hack your fingers off. So let's have a look at this, see how we're doing. I don't know if we're catching this all on the camera, but because I can't watch the camera and see what I'm doing at the same time. Right, now got a big lump of filler there that we need to remove. Now just use the knife again, health and safety, but we're experienced modelers, we don't care. So just come in and shave that down, make sure that that's looking nice and true. Right, let's try now. Right, let's get that okay. Yeah, I think what I'll do is I'll try something just a little bit different this time. I think what I'll do is I'll actually glue the back half. I tried doing it by doing the front section on the nacelle last time. Now I think all well and good. Let's see if I can get that to line up. Yeah, it's not going to be 100%, but then again, it's just force landed on a field, and nothing's going to be straight and true on her after that. So yeah, I think we can safely say that we can give that a go. Yeah, actually, thinking about it, I'll just glue along this edge at the front here, give that a chance to bite in, and then we can always, if needs be, stick something in there just to raise that up a little bit whilst we glue the other end. So, oh, just seeing a little bit of flash there, that won't help things settle down. There we go. Right, let's run. Great thing with this using this model filler is that whoops, she does does take well to super glue, so that's quite handy. Right, now this is where I hope I don't get my finger stuck now, so just bear with me. I'm going to have to lay this on the counter. Right, let's line up. The back. Right, and quickly get a little clamp, just bring that down, and I've got another one here somewhere, don't need nothing big. There we go, and just slap that down on there. That'll just give us enough bite to keep the glue there, give it a chance, and then once that's set, we'll then come back and do the center join, where I can just lift that up, put something in there like a brush or something, just the handle of a brush, just to help lift that up, and then run some super glue through, and that'll join wherever it can, and should be good. Right, I'll let that dry and then we'll come back. Okay, right, now I've managed to clean up and attach the tail plane. As you can see, all the tail planes. Again, if you remember, they made them out of car filler. They're two halves stuck together just like a normal kit part, but yeah, it's all nice and firm in there, stuck in with super glue. As you can make out that wing, all the rudder damage on there, that looks really nice. Next will be to attach the wings. I've put the inners on both and filled in the seam or biggest gaps. If you can probably just try to do this two-handed, but yeah, so they're all ready to go on. Like I say, they're not going to be super accurate, so but like I say, it's going to end up on the belly. There is one more thing I've got to do first, and that's to add another piece of sheet styrene in there, just to act as a radiator. Right, so I shall be back in a second and then we'll carry on. Right, okay, now we'll get started on putting the wings on. Now what I will do is I'll use gel type glue just to run on the edges there, inside there, so if you can just make out in there, so that'll give us a little bit of extra bond, because the runny super glue or the thin super glue may not make contact completely. So at least we'll have a better chance of keeping everything straight. So I'll just run, oops, that's all running out, so never mind, I'll use it all. There we go, just run a bead in there, down into those corners. Right, we'll grab the wing and hopefully we'll get this mated up nice and true, and just give her a little bit of pressure just to let her settle and bite in. Might just have to hold that there for a few seconds. Then what I'll do once these are set up, I'll run a thin bead of poly cement around the outside, so that'll help to bond as well, and also on the outboard just where the radiator covers are, that'll help to keep her in position. So hopefully, nope, she's still not wanting to go, so we'll just continue holding her for a little while longer. Making sure that we don't put her out of true too much. The problem being is that because there's a lot of weight on here, it's a lot to ask for the super glue to bite instantly. So Just having to be a bit patient. Nope, she's not wanting to go. And you can see we've got the glue on there, but I think what we might do is we might just wipe off a piece of that, and there we go. Let's give that another go. Maybe it's just that when that splodged out there, that was too much. So here we go. Let's go back in again. Hopefully this time we'll have success. There we go. Right, now I'll just gently, oh, she's still a bit wobbly. Right, what I'll do is I'll just gently, no, she's not having it. What I'll do is I'll leave that, gently lay her down, leave her in that position, and give her a few minutes, and we'll come back, and hopefully it's all good. Okay, right, well, whilst that was off camera, I decided I took it apart again because it wasn't actually biting properly, so I took it apart and put some thin super glue inside and let it set, and then just ran, which I've just done, a bead of poly cement just ran on the seam there. So let's let that soak in, and she's a lot better now. So now what we'll do is we'll go on to this side, this time using the thin glue. So here we go. Whether you can see this in the camera or not, because I'm having to work upside down back to front, and it's also sort of rather large now. I don't want to bang it against the desk and end up breaking the wing off before it's set properly. So okay, dollop of super glue in there. We'll run that along that seam at the top, okay, and in at the back there, and just run a few bits there. Right, now fingers crossed, come at it from this angle. I'll get that offered up into there, and hopefully we'll get a bit of a bite on there. So we'll give that a few seconds just to give itself time to bed in. There we go. Right, she's tacked in nice and well. So what I'll do now is I'll come along and put the lid on the glue first, so I don't stick my fingers anywhere. Put that gently on the counter. Okay, and what we'll do is make sure this is nice and straight. Yeah, she's looking well. What we'll do is we'll just give her, there we go. Right, get the poly cement. I'll just run that around the gap in there, and now we'll wait for that to set up, and hopefully job's a good one. Okay, right, well, we'll come back.